Alright, hey, HadesOmega here, and this is the after action review for the Shasta Supermoto Triple Crown 2023 Round 3. Alright, so HadesOmega, man, I'm not gonna lie, I missed all the Reading races this year, pretty much. I didn't do any races in Reading. I did do that relay race with the Redshift like a month back, but that doesn't really count. It's not really a race. All right. They did have a combined championship. It was Shasta Supermoto and the Northern Nevada Kart Club, and I missed all the Reading rounds. All right. All the first couple rounds were in Reading, and then the next rounds were in Reno. So I missed all the Reading rounds. It was either because of a couple things, weather. Yeah, I didn't want to race in the rain. Okay, weather. The other obligations, like there was another race that day or I had to do something, so yeah, so it just didn't pan out. And it's the same thing for the Triple Crown, alright? So it's called Triple Crown because there's 3 rounds, alright? And it's a 3-round championship, and HadesOmega missed 2 of the 3, unfortunately, alright? What was I doing? Oh, I raced, yeah, it was some other race. I raced Moto Beach Classic, that was one of them. I raced Moto Beach Classic and I went to Moab. All right, so that was a round 1 and round 2. All right, those are my excuses for not going. All right, and it was totally worth it. I'm not gonna lie. All right, the Moto Beach Classic was awesome. Check that video out, those videos out when I get them out. No, they're already out. Moto Beach Classic is already out, so check those race videos out. That videos will be out in the near future. Okay, yeah, it's been a while since I done trail riding in Moab, and it was spectacular, dude. It didn't disappoint, and I did it on the light bee. All right, so that's gonna so the Moab trip is gonna kind of come up with the light bee. All right, because I beat the crap out of the light bee. All right, I'm not gonna lie, this poor guy, I've been running it ragged the whole year. All right, I just bought this bike this year, and I'm still trying to sort some things out, you know, hopefully. But so the Triple Crown Round 3 is going to be my last race of the year, guys. All right. There is a drag race on Wednesday, but I don't think we're going because I think it's gonna rain. So yeah, that's the scoop. We raced at the Triple Crown. All right. So it took place on November 11th and 12th. All right, of 2023 at Shasta Kart Club. All right, in Redding, California. It's right by the airport. Alright, you should guys, if you're in that area or you want to do some really good supermoto riding, the track is really nice. It's got good grip. There's a couple cracks here and there, but you know, and the dirt section is amazing. All right, that is one of the best dirt sections that I have ridden, so it doesn't disappoint. All right, and that's true for this round. Right. Anyway, let's get started. All right, so Saturday. I got there Friday night, and I set the pit up at night. And one of the interesting things about this race is whenever I go to Reading, it's always hot as balls, okay? It's either 90 degrees and up, all right? And it just feels awful. Well, the weather is supposed to be great this weekend. It was going to be nice and cool. It was going to be in the 70s, all right? 70s and down into the 40s at night. So it got cold at night, but it was perfect weather in the daytime, all right? Probably a little cold in the morning. All right, it's gonna be a little slippery in the morning. So, and that was true. Okay, so that was the weather the whole weekend. All right, it was cold at night, but nice weather, like, you know, room temperature weather in the daytime. So, finally, HadesOmega wore his leathers. All right, I would have worn my my Liat armor and the dirt bike stuff. If it was hotter, but it was, you know, I was still sweating my balls off in this though. It's kind of humid in Reading this time of year, I guess. Saturday is asphalt only racing. Sunday is supermoto. It's just with the dirt section. All right, so those people that just want to drag their knees, or you know, they're afraid of the dirt, they vacate after Saturday. I'll tell you that. All right. And all the people that just they like to ride dirt, then they actually come on Sunday. So sometimes it's kind of weird, yeah. Some people are afraid of the dirt, and some people love the dirt. All right, HadesOmega is kind of, I like the dirt, all right, but I'll race in both. All right. So on Saturday, we were gonna race mini asphalt. All right, mini asphalt in the Suron Light Bee. Okay, and then we raced open amateur. All right, open GP amateur or open asphalt amateur on the Alta Redshift SM39. Okay, and yeah, had I did do any weird preparations? Yeah, so I had to convert this back from a dirt bike to a supermoto. I had actually, yeah, I think during practice, yeah, for the practice, I had the dirt suspension settings on there, and I didn't like it. I thought, oh, it's too soft, it responds too slow. So after that, I put the supermoto settings, the motocross settings. The supermoto and motocross settings are pretty much the same. It's just stiffer, all right? So you don't bottom out as much, and so the suspension it'll change direction faster, all right? It's stiffer, you know. That, and it's also you know, it's harder on you, but if you're not riding over really rough terrain, then you don't really need it to be really soft, is what I noticed. This Dorado, I'm learning how to tune this Dorado fork, and it is actually really good if you know what you're doing with it. Okay, and I kind of do know what I'm doing. Also, I got my forks are leaking too. I need to do a fork service on these forks after this year. So end of the year, now it's time to do it. Okay, so. I was waiting off till now. The Light Bee will get a full refresh this winter, all right, guys? And the Light Bee is not in good shape, right? Especially after riding it in Moab, okay? So we're going out there. Practice is okay. I think we used the big battery for practice. We used this guy. All right, we used the big battery for practice, and then I put it on I think I put it on the charger a little bit, and then we put it back. So the theme of the day was overheating batteries, all right? So that's what we had. We had overheating battery problems. And mind you, it's not hot today, all right? I've raced these bikes in like 100-degree temperature, and they've never overheated, all right? I've never overheated the battery until today, all right? And it's not hot today. So that tells you the course configuration. I looked at the map. Check out the map. Okay, yeah, that's the map. That's the GPS tracks I got for the track. So that's the track configuration. That track configuration is like, I think it's the highest speed configuration. So the time that the throttle is open is a lot. Okay, so and it has to be true, man, because I overheated both of the bikes. Both of these bikes I overheated. Okay, so that's a little spoiler for the end of the day, okay? That's what happened. Okay, so Asphalt Mini race comes along, all right? And the Asphalt Mini heat race comes along. HadesOmega finished third on the okay. Yeah, so I came in third in the Asphalt Mini heat race. So what happened was, yeah, Rick Dunbar came in first, all right? So Rick Dunbar, we never heard this dude. He lives in Reading, apparently, and he's really fast. He's actually a really fast racer. It's kind of crazy. And he was pretty impressive. He rode a CRF 230, all right? I don't see that not many CRF 230s get on the podium, or at least get first place, all right? Anyway, so Rick Dunbar finished first. Jeremy Collender, all right, the dude from Reno that I race all the time, big dude from Reno, on the 150R, he got second. And then I got third. That's funny, like everybody on the podium has like 7s in their numbers. Okay, and then wow, Elizabeth Kessler got fourth. I wasn't paying attention to who was behind us. But Bryce Crawford came in fifth. And then Jerry Douglas came in 6th, and then Dean Rabdu came in 7th. All right, so that's kind of surprising. I think Dean, in that race, Dean had like, he said like a B or something came in his boot, and then he had to take his boot off, and he was like off the side of the thing. So yeah, it was a fun race, just want to say. I don't think I had any problems with the bike in that race. Also, it was only 6 laps. I think I used, yeah, I don't remember. I think we used a smaller battery for that race. Yeah. So and I'm going to talk about the smaller battery right now. HadesOmega has been having problems with this bike cutting out when I land the bike hard off a jump, or the back wheel hits something really hard, the bike cuts out. Okay, and I think I've figured out the problem. I will go over it by the end of the video, right? But anyway, yeah, I've been having problems with the bike cutting out, and I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. So this is Saturday was only asphalt, all right. There was no dirt, no jumping, none of that stuff, all right. So I was thinking, you know what, the bike will be fine at least on Saturday, right? So I didn't have to worry about that. Luckily, I didn't, all right. And yeah, so the bike ran okay. I used a smaller battery in that race, I believe. I used this one. This is the battery that's giving me problems right now, guys, okay? Anyway, yeah, so I think I used this. I don't know what happened. But somehow the battery overheated in the main race, all right? I'll go over that after we go over the Redshift, all right? So the Redshift, all right? Open amateur. HadesOmega finished 7th. Did I finish? I finished 7th? No way. So in open asphalt, I finished 7th on the light B. All right. So open amateur is like you can race any bike you want, pretty much. All right. People have like street bikes or whatever, you know, and well, obviously there's other than people who's gonna race their 450s and stuff. So it's an open class, all right. You can, you know, run what you brung type of class, okay. And so that's the only one that I could race that day. They didn't have a 250 class, they didn't have a vet class, nothing like that. So that's the only thing we could race the Redshift in, all right. And yeah, so after practice, and then yeah, I think the bike did okay during practice. The bikes are getting real hot, man. I mean, the batteries are getting real hot because it's a really high speed course. Okay, it's like I remember Button Willow. Button Willow is a really high speed course where you're like just the throttle open all the time, and that heats up the battery like a whole lot when you're just wide open. Okay, maybe just don't open the throttle up all the way. I know you can't tell me to do that, but you can't tell a racer not to open the throttle all the way. It's not right. It's backwards thinking. Anyway, yeah, so I came in 7th in that race, all right. Rick Dunbar came in 1st. There you go. It's same two guys. The funny thing is the same two guys from the asphalt mini race. They placed the same in the open amateur. It's a Rick Dunbar for 1st and Jeremy Callender 2nd, all right. And 3rd was Errol Smith, all right. I'm on Errol's 24-hour race team, by the way, so it's a cool guy. Okay, and 4th was Clifford Peluso. 5th was Rod Wetmore. Rod Wetmore just got a 450 SMR. All right, Mike Daly 6th, and I came in 7th, and Cooper McMuller came in 8th. Oh no, and then Dean did not finish. Something happened to Dean. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what happened to Dean. Sorry, he was back there somewhere. Yeah, so Dean didn't finish, so he got a DNF. And yeah, so that was the heat race, and then the main race comes along, and so the thing about the asphalt racing on Saturday is the schedule just went boom, 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 boom. It went so fast. We got done with the heat races really fast. And then we had a 45-minute lunch, so I had 45 minutes to cool the bikes down, you know. And so another thing, okay, so here's one of the improves for the AAR, is I forgot my fan again, man. I forgot. Do I have it here? Man, you know what? I think I put it away. It's not here, man. Where is that thing? I totally forgot to bring it, man. All right, this bad boy. All right, I forgot to bring this. All right, I also have another fan. I should have brought both of them. I didn't. I totally forgot. All right, it just slipped my mind. I haven't been using them very often, but I should have brought these. All right, these are what keep the bike cool on the hot days. All right, and it helps a whole lot. And I just didn't bring it, and the bike's overheated. Because of that, so I think because I didn't, but you know, HadesOmega, you don't really have an excuse for the light B because the light B, the batteries are, you can swap the batteries on the Light V, so it doesn't really matter, okay? You can put a fresh one in. So in my opinion, that's the best thing to do. Yeah, is have this to cool the bike down, all right? You know, you just point it at the battery and it cools it down, you know, and then spray water on it. And so really the only thing I could do to keep the bike cool throughout the day was to spray water on it. I didn't have anything else. So I had a little spray bottle, spraying water on it. That's the next best thing you can do, right? Other than like put a fan on it. Or I guess the best thing you can do is put an air conditioner on it. So maybe HadesOmega should just bring a portable air conditioner with them, but I would need one that can move like a good amount of air. You know, like a blower air conditioner type of thing, right? Anyway, yeah, so that was the scoop. So yeah, the schedule went by really fast, man. We got done really early, and they had a dirt practice at the end of the day that I wasn't gonna do, all right? But I wound up doing it anyway because Mark was like, "Hey, you're gonna go out and practice?" I'm like, "Okay." I was like, I might as well, so I can get a preview of what I'm racing tomorrow, type of thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's always it's always good to practice on a track that you've never practiced on before, all right? And even then, like, they always have different configurations on the track, so the track is gonna be different every time. So the more practice, the more confident you're gonna be, all right? So I would never say don't practice, you know, you should practice, all right? Practice, that's why they say practice makes perfect, right? But sometimes like you're just gonna wear yourself out if you practice a lot too. So that's another thing for HadesOmega. Like, I just don't got good stamina, man. And you'll find that out the next day. Anyway, yeah, so main race. All right, Asphalt Mini main race. All right, we're racing, all right, and boom, HadesOmega gets a great start, and then I'm in front of everybody, and like they're behind me for a couple laps, I think, and I don't remember, man. I was doing really good in the race, and then yeah, something happened. I was fourth. I wound up getting fourth. I think Bryce Crawford, he had a 150R, and Jerry Douglas, all right? Jerry Douglas was riding a 230, and they were pretty fast. And I did something happened, and I was in the front for a while, and then everybody passed me, and then I had to play catch up. I was in fourth, and then Bryce got a flat, all right? He got a flat on his front, so he had to, he retired, he didn't finish. And then I didn't finish. I don't think I did finish, but I kind of finished it because it said I did. So I'm not gonna say anything about it. All right, but yeah, I came in 7th, guys. So here's what happens. Here's what happened. All right, so I was chasing Jerry, all right, for 3rd place. All right, Dean Rabideau and Jeremy Collender were 1st and 2nd. All right, it was a pretty good battle between them in the beginning, and then I think the back slipped out. The back slipped out on the corner, and I slowed down, and everybody passed me. All right, and then yeah, I was in 4th, or I was in 5th, and then Bryce got a flat, and then I was in 4th, and then there was Jerry in front of me in the 230, and I was chasing him down. All right? And every lap I was gaining on him just a little bit, man. Those 230s are pretty fast, man. With the right rider, a 230 is a pretty good machine, is what I'm gonna say. All right, I think they're just kind of big and heavy, those probably, kind of like my KLX sorta. And yeah, so I was on the verge of catching him. All right, it's an 8-lap main race. All right, and so I think I was. Yeah, 7th lap. 7th lap, I'm right on his tail, and I'm like, oh, you know what? And the 7th lap is like they throw the white flag out, the final lap, right? And I'm not gonna lie, it's a big maybe, all right? It's a big maybe whether I could have passed him on the final lap, because I was right on his tail. I was hot on his tail, and I was riding the bike hard, all right? I was, you know, wide open. I was going 100%, you know, trying to catch him to get to 3rd place. And then the bike overheated. Okay, I shit you not. Before the 7th lap, all right, before we hit the finish line for the 7th lap, the bike died.
Oh, the bike cut out! Oh no! Oh, the battery died on me. The battery overheated, dude. Shit. Shit. Ah, the battery overheated, man. Disappointing.
And I was like, oh, game over. Guess what? I already knew what happened. It overheated. All right. I think I had used this battery twice. This is the battery that overheated, guys. By the way. All right. I think this is the battery that overheated. Yes, this is the battery I overheated because I looked at the BMS after the race and it said battery temperature high, disconnect or something. so yeah, definitely the battery overheated. All right, when the battery overheats, the BMS just shuts it off like right away. All right, and the KO motor doesn't know. All right, the KO motor doesn't talk to the BMS, so it doesn't know how hot the battery's getting. The one nice thing about the Redshift is that when it gets hot, it starts limiting the power. All right, the bike will get slower and slower and slower to keep you from overheating the battery. I'd imagine once you get to that critical point, it'll just shut the bike off. All right, but this one doesn't do that. All right, this one will run 100% until it overheats, and that's it. No more power. And I looked down and I was like, oh, there's no power. Nothing is running. That's it. Game over. I tried to start it and I was like, it overheated. And the thing is, it overheated at the track exit. like I just exited the track. I was like, oh, that's it. Game over. And then I see everybody passing by. I was like, oh, damn it. I was right on Jerry's tail. I was like, oh, damn it. I almost passed freaking Jerry, dude, man. I think I raced him before, but yeah, I almost passed him. I think I might have. Like I said, if I had 2 laps on him, I definitely would have passed him if the bike's performance kept up. And I think the next lap, the final lap, I think I may have been able to pass him. I'm not 100% on that. But if I had 2 more laps, I probably would have been able to pass him. That's my guess. And if riding at the pace that I was riding, all right, if he slowed down or whatever, then yeah, I would have got him. But he rode good. Good job, Jerry. You whooped me. You whooped me in the light bee, all right, and I overheated. So yeah. Okay, and then so they had the open amateur. Oh, open amateur was actually before. Yeah, so before the light, I know for some reason I thought I'd race the light bee first, but and the next day is the opposite. I think I raced the light bee first, but the Redshift in the open amateur race overheated too. All right, so on the last lap, let's see, we came in last again. Yeah, we came in last again. All right, Rick Dunbar, first place. Jeremy Callender second, Errol third. All right, it's same results as last, almost exact same results. Yeah. Oh, except Dean was up there. Yeah. So Dean didn't do so good in the second heat on the heat race, but in the main race, Dean got 4th. Okay, so it was Rick Dunbar, Jeremy Callender, Errol Smith on the podium, and then Dean got 4th, and then Rod 5th, Clifford Peluso in 6th, Mike Daly in 7th, and I came in 8th, and then Cooper McMuller came in 9th. Okay, so we were last. So, and yeah, we're the 250 guys. All right, we're racing 250 class bikes. All right, so the way I class the Redshift is it's about as fast as a 250. It's kind of like in between. I feel like the Redshift is probably faster than I'm gonna say most 250s. All right, some 250s are really fast. I'm not gonna lie, dude. But it can keep up with the 450. All right, so it's like, but a 250 and a 450, it's hardly not much of a difference, man. Other than like, yeah, the 450 has like a lot more power. Okay, so other than that, but the 250 handles pretty good. Okay, so yeah, that was the end of the day. I remember I remember I think by the 6th lap. On the 6th lap, the bike overheated. I saw the little exclamation light go on. I was like, oh shit, it's overheating. Not unexpected. All right, and then so I knew from Saturday that the heat is being a real problem for the batteries. All right, it's not the controller, not the motor. All right, both of the controller and motors on the bikes were fine. All right, they did their jobs, but the batteries overheated on both of the bikes. All right, I 100% know the battery on this bike overheated and this battery overheated. All right, so that will formulate the plan for the next day. All right, when we race Supermoto. All right, so we're gonna talk about the next day. Well, actually, we'll talk about practice. So we had practice at the end of the day. And HadesOmega wasn't going to practice, but I said, hey, why don't we just spin a couple laps so I know what it looks like, you know. So it's pretty much the same configuration as the asphalt, except there's a dirt section, and it's got more turns. It's slower. But we still had the big long straight, all right? The big long straight where you can go like 100 miles an hour if you had a bike that could go that fast, yeah. And yeah, so that was the scoop. And the dirt section was long. I would say the dirt section, it was close to half. I wouldn't say half. I would say like 40%. There you go. I would say 60% of the track was asphalt and 40% of the track was probably dirt. Like Mark made it like really, really long. All right, that's what he told me. Like, there's gonna be a long dirt section. And I'm like, okay. I think I've done something like that before, but. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it, and the course was really good. The dirt was really hard packed. It was really flat tracky. It's there's not a whole lot of soft dirt. It was perfect for Supermoto. All right, that's what I want to say. Perfect for flat track. You just slip and slide on it, you know, nicely. And yeah, so I got a lot of good practice in on Sunday. For the Sunday practice, the Sunday races is what I want to say. Okay, so next day comes along. I make sure all the batteries are charged. All right, it was Veterans Day also, by the way. I ate a lot. I went out to Applebee's and the people at Reading fed me too. So thanks a lot. You know, the grub was great that night. And also, if you guys don't know, my metabolism shoots up way a lot when I go racing. All right, when I ride motorcycles hard or I race, I get hungry like really fast. Like so, and my body's like saying, "Hey, you need to eat right now." So because it still thinks we're racing. So a couple days later, I'm still in that mode. I just want to say. Anyway, so next day comes along. All the batteries are charged. So we're gonna try our best. So we're gonna do our best to keep the batteries cool on Sunday's race. All right, so I had done something that I don't normally do. I raced 3 races in one day. All right, it's very difficult, especially on electric bikes. All right, so the plan. All right, I signed up for Adult Mini, my favorite race. All right, the Adult Mini Supermoto. That's just a mini race with the dirt section. All right. And so we're racing it on the light beer, all right? And that is race number 4. Yep, all right? And then, yeah, so that's race number 4. And then HadesOmega race in race number 5, the vet class, all right? So it's a age class thing, and they have a vet 30, 40, and 50, all right? And I guess nobody's 60 years old still racing yet. I just want to say. And yeah, so the cool thing is, there's only 3 racers in each class, so no matter what, HadesOmega will get on the podium, all right? And I'm thinking that I probably won't pass these guys, all right, the guys that I'm racing. So it's a combined vet class. They combine 30, 40, and 50. You race with everybody, but you're really only racing with the people in your age group, all right? So the people in my age group are Jeremy Callender, Eric Poland, and me. All right, so I'm in vet 40. I'm 42. I'm going to be 43 in a month now, so I'm getting old. So I'm an old timer, so I can race with the 40-year-olds. All right, and Jeremy and Eric are riding 450, so I already know like I'm probably going to get whooped by them. All right, and then I've signed up for the 250 amateur class. All right, so and yeah, this bike is about, like I said, it's about as fast as a 250. It probably you know, faster than some 250s and slower than some 250s. Okay. And we raced that with Cooper McMuller. All right, we raced with him the day before in the Open Amateur. Me and Dean Rabidou. All right, Dean Rabidou, my little buddy. He's not so little anymore. All right, he's fast. So, okay, he has a 250. All right, that he races. Okay, and so we were gonna do our best to. Oh yeah, another interesting thing is that Andy DeBrino showed up. All right, Andy DeBrino is like a nationally ranked AMA like supermoto pro racer, okay, and he raced with the pros, and he raced with us in the mini race. Also, I raced with him in the Moto Beach Classic. All right, so he raced the little electric, the Grainger G3S. All right, it's a nice bike. It doesn't have good top speed though, unfortunately. It doesn't have the top speed. It doesn't have the top speed to keep up with the Light Bee. All right, that's what I'll say. But yeah, he went to go race the mini race with us, and he looked like he was having a lot of fun. So it was good to have another electric bike on the track. That's what I'll say. So yeah, I wasn't the only electric racer out there this weekend. Okay, he raced in the mini class with the Grainger G3S, and then he raced his KTM in the Open Pro race. All right, and he did very, very good. I want to say. All right, here's some spoilers. He won. All right, he won the Open Pro class. All right, so that's how good he is. And he is the real deal. Okay. Okay. So what's the strategy, HadesOmega? You've got like pretty much 6 races. All right, you've got 3 heats and 3 mains. All right, and you had problems overheating the batteries, and you only did like 4 races. All right, the day before. So what are we gonna do to keep the bike cool? All right. So there was a couple. HadesOmega kind of threw a couple plans out there. Why don't we race the Light Bee in one of those classes? In the vet class, it doesn't matter what bike you have as long as you're the right age. All right, you can race any bike. Well, I could race this in a 250 also because it's not bigger than a 250. So it's like I could do that. I can sacrifice the Light Bee one race. You know, I've done 2 races on the Light Bee before. I know we can do it, you know, provided you can keep the battery cool. All right. So also another thing is the track configuration is different than yesterday. All right. There's a dirt section now, so there's more turns. It's slower. You're not going to be on the throttle as much. All right. Yeah, is all I want to say. So anyway, I did my best to keep the batteries as cool as possible. This is what happened. All right. So the heat race. All right. Oh, okay. This is where the problem. Remember what I told you about in Moab? The bike was cutting out when I hit a jump really hard and stuff, and I would come down and it would just lose power. This is the culprit. All right. I found out. So what I did the day before is I did a motor calibration, and I went out and I rode. I rode for practice, and I made sure to make the bike land hard. All right, I hit all the hard bumps and everything. You know, I can make the bike go through this. I can make the bike go through the course a lot smoother. You know, if I slow down in certain places or I take certain lines. But I choose all the ones that the most jarring. All right, I'm jumping off the tabletops and landing hard, and I used this battery. All right, All right, and to my knowledge, the bike only, and so I used this for the practice to do the test, all right, after I did the recalibration, and it never cut out at all. I did about 4 laps, you know, and it was fine. I was like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with it. It looks like I fixed the problem. All right, so the heat race comes along. All right, we do practice, and so here's my strategy for practice. I only did like 3 laps. Yeah, I think I only did 3 laps for practice. All right, just enough to get the charge down a little bit. It's not good to start a race with 100% battery. You should be at like 90%, somewhere around there. Because if you get on the regen, it might overcharge the battery. I'm always worried about that, and I need the regen to slow down. So, okay, so I used this battery for the practice, and I used this battery for the heat. I wanted to save, and I saved this battery for the main race. Okay, so I hadn't touched this battery at all. I kept it in the car, trying to keep it as cool as possible because it was cold at night, right? And then we used this one for the practice and the main. And I in practice it didn't act up. Like I said, I only did 3 laps. All right. And then so we do the. I'm gonna put these down now. We do the heat race. All right. So heat race comes along, and so we're up for adult mini. All right. It's called. I guess it's called Super Mini. Oh, it's called Supermoto. Yeah, they call it Supermoto Mini. It's not adult mini. I guess kids can race into it now. So, and so here's what happens, man. I get a very good start. I think I got first. I was first. I got the whole shot. Yeah, I got the whole shot, and I led for like 3 laps.
I'm in first.
Me and the light B were like on fire. We were, and the bike is running good. All right, for about 3 laps, and then I think about on the 3rd lap, the back slipped out on me on one of the corners, and then I slowed down, and Jeremy passed me. All right.
Oh! All right, me and Jeremy, let's go.
And then Dean passed me eventually. And then I think Rick Dunbar was behind me, and what happened, man? I can't remember, but people just started passing me. Yeah, I got passed a lot in the dirt. I was like going slow in the dirt. These guys were fast in the dirt, man. I'm telling you. Usually it's me that's really fast in the dirt, but no, they were really fast. HadesOmega likes to when you go on the berms. I let off on the throttle, all right, and these guys probably aren't letting off on the throttle there. I slow down when I go around the berms. It's kind of a bad habit. You should be going faster, HadesOmega. But it's a habit. Like, yeah, we're gonna go into a turn. You need to slow down. Actually, you don't need to, all right. And by the end of the day, I kind of did get it, all right. I was carrying more speed through those berms. But anyway, so what happened was the bike cut out, all right. I think over the tabletop, you just launch it off the tabletop and it lands hard, and poof, the bike died on me. I was like, oh, I dadgummit.
Oh, the bike cut out! Let's go, come on!
So a couple people passed me. I turned the bike off, and I turned it back on, and then we go again. And then at some point, Andy, I'm with Andy DeBrino on his electric bike, the Greener G3S. So me and Andy are racing now because like I'm in the back now with everybody else. Yeah, so I was racing for 4th place, all right, for the heat race. And then like Charles Overton and Owen Ware and Cooper McMuller were in the back, all right, because they had like the slower bikes. Okay, anyway, but so yeah, it was me and Andy. It was kind of cool because this happened. I got a chance to race with Andy with the electric bikes, and he was fast. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm riding in the dirt, and then he kind of just like comes up behind me. I don't even hear him because we're on electric bikes, and he passes me. I was like, whoa! I was like, what the heck? Like I didn't even know he was there, and he is fast in the dirt with that thing, with that little bike, man.
Whoa! Man, he's hauling the mail!
But the one thing I have over him on the Light V is power, alright? I got a lot of power on him. he told me his bike tops out at 45. Because he asked me, like, how fast does your bike go? Oh, I'm doing about 60 on the straight. And he's doing like 45 on the straight. All right, he's about as fast as a stock light bee on the straight. So like, I can make up the difference. All right, on the straight. The straight is what's killing Andy, is what I'm gonna say. All right, because he can only go like 45.
White flag! White flag!
That's impressive, because he was in front of Charles, Owen, and Cooper. You know, Owen was on a KLX 140. That's a pretty fast bike, okay? And Charles was on a 230. You know, that's a pretty fast bike too. So, and so just goes to show that the G3S can hang with the other mini bikes, yeah. You know. But the guys on the top, they were really fast. All right, I'm not gonna lie, they were on their game. Their bikes were fast, and they rode really fast. So hats off to them. So anyway, so yeah, it was just me and Andy racing on the Granger, and like, yeah, it was fun. I had a whole lot of fun. We were having a great time, and I knew I could blow them away on the straight. So that's what I did. I used that as an advantage. And then the bike cut out on me again on the dirt, man, on like the whoops or something. I think it cut out on me. It also cut out on me on the asphalt too. So I was like, this battery, dude, there's something wrong with this battery. So I found out in that race. Oh no. Well, we'll find out in the next race, because I used this battery in the next race, the bigger battery. I used this battery in the next race, and it didn't cut out at all. All right, so there is something wrong with this battery. Right, something happened to this battery in Moab. Okay, so I will go over that at the end of the video. All right, but anyway, yeah, I came in. So the bike cut out, and then Andy got in front of me, and I'm like trying to catch up to him like crazy, you know, and then yeah. So I try to stomp on him with that Sauron power, with that KO power. That 60 miles an hour versus 45 miles an hour top speed, and we're going around the corner, and I think I was about a bike length behind him, and he even pushed his bike forward over the line when we were a thing, but I was like a bike length behind him. I wouldn't have got him, man. But it was a really close finish between the electric bikes, though. That was a lot of fun. He's not gonna mess around for the main race. I'll tell you that, man. It was so that's just a heat race. This is a practice race. So, but I had a lot of fun playing around with Andy on the G3. Okay, so now the strategy part. All right, so HadesOmega decided. All right, we gotta try to save the Redshift for the rest of the day. We gotta try to not ride it that hard. All right, and. So I think, yeah. So we did the only 3 laps during practice. We just did a couple laps with the Redshift, just to see how it's out there. I think I took the Redshift out for practice the last day, and it did pretty good. I knew what lines to take. I knew what it could do, and I knew what this could do, and what the Light B could do. And this can't do what the Light B does. All right, but it has very good suspension, and it soaks stuff up really nicely, and it's got a lot of power. You can like slide it around more. All right, and I took advantage of that in the dirt. So my plan was, we did the practice, and I skipped the vet race. So what I did is I skipped the vet race. I did not show. All right, I hate to say it, man. You're not getting your money's worth, but I did it so to save it for the main, save the battery for the main, and I was trying my best to keep it cool. And then we raced a 250 race, all right. And so in the heat race, there was some problem with Dean's wheel or something, and he didn't show up to the heat race. So Dean gets to start in the back for the main race automatically. And I was racing Cooper McMuller on his YZ250, and yeah, so it was a 2-bike race, 2-bike race, 250, and so if possible, I wanted to take it easy to save the battery, right? Save the charge, save the heat, you know, I want to prevent from having to charge and discharge it, because when you charge the battery, it heats up the battery too. So my plan was to not charge it that much. All right, but anyway, I raced Cooper for 3 laps, and I got in front of him, and I came in first place. All right. However, Cooper did not. Cooper was not playing around. I'll tell you that now. I had to ride 100%. All right. I rode as fast as I could to keep him behind me. All right. There's a couple times where I heard him. He was getting closer and stuff, and I was like, I think that So he's a dirt rider, right? He's a motocross rider, so he's really fast in the dirt, and I'm okay fast on this thing, man. I'm not a motocross rider, but I'm pretty fast in the dirt. I got dirt legs. I just want to say, but this was faster on the pavement, and like, yeah, he says like out of the corners I was really fast. Like the bike would just take off. So there you go. That's an electric advantage. You're always in the right gear, guys. It's amazing. All right, that's what I want to say. Anyway, we finished that race at first place. I was super tired after that race. I was like, oh, and I'm thinking like, man, this is just a heat race. I'm really tired after racing him, and I was pushing it hard. In the main race, it's going to be really rough, because we're going to have to race 16 laps, guys. That's 8 laps one race and another lap, because we're back-to-back races, all right? We're racing the Light Bee. Yeah, so that's right after I raced the Light Bee, by the way. So after that Light Bee race, I hopped on this bike right away. No, I didn't. We took a break, all right? I didn't race that race, and then we raced a 250 race, all right? And I was tired after that race, after 6 laps, and I'm not feeling it. I was like, man, I tried really hard. I came in first place, but I had to try really hard to keep him behind me. I was like, man, this is going to be rough. Okay, main race comes along. All right, and so we're not going to use this battery anymore. We're going to use the big battery, all right? The big guy right here. All right, we hadn't used it the whole day. It has a full charge, so I don't... no excuses, HadesOmega. The battery's nice and cold, and we're going to go whoop some ass, all right? So Adult Mini comes along, and we just take off, all right? I take off like a bat out of hell, man. If it's one thing the Light Bee is good at, is getting the hole shot, man. And I got the hole shot again, and I led. No, I didn't lead. I think I got the hole shot. I got the hole shot into the first corner, and then Dean came up and he passed me like right away. All right, so and that was behind Dean.
All right, here we go, guys.
So my mentality, I can't pay attention to what's behind me, but my mentality during the race, during that part of the race, the beginning of the race, is follow Dean. Just follow Dean. All right. Dean is fast. Just follow him. All right. And that was the idea. And I tried my best to keep on his tail. I think around Jeremy was right behind me. I heard a bike behind me. It was either. It would have been either Rick Dunbar or it would be Jeremy Callender behind me, because there's like, I can hear a bike behind me and it's really close. All right, and then but I'm chasing Dean. Dean is slowing down into some places and I'm almost hitting him. Yeah, that's not what happened. I remember. All right, so that's what happened. I think I went around the corner. Dean slowed. There's a double like U-turn sort of type of thing. All right. And for some reason Dean goes really slow around. Sometimes he goes really slow around the second U-turn, and I almost clipped him. I almost hit him, and I had to stop really hard, and then they passed me like that. Rick almost also passes me too, because I had to stop the bike because I would have hit him. All right, I didn't want to hit him. All right, and because of that, I lost some places in the middle of the race. All right, so I went from second to like fourth. almost fourth. But Rick was trying to pass me, man, and I didn't let him. All right. But Jeremy's definitely got Jeremy definitely got a position on me. All right. He took second place from me, and then and I'm behind. I knew I was behind Jeremy, and then Rick was trying to pass me, and I'm like, no, I shut the door on him. All right. So when we went out onto the dirt, I knew, I was like, this bike changes direction faster than that 230, man. The 230 is a big bike, man. And I took tighter lines on him. I parked my bike on the inside. HadesOmega has been doing a lot of flat track racing this year, and I know if you take the inside, they're not gonna pass you, because they're gonna have to go on the outside, all right? Or they're gonna have to go hella fast on the outside to pass you. And so if you take the inside, and then there's really only one ideal place to be on the track, guys. So, like, if you block this one part, it makes it very difficult for them to get around you. All right, and they're gonna have to slow down or something. All right, and so I knew that, and that's what I did. I parked the inside. I knew my bike could turn faster than Rick's bike, so I swooped up under.
Ah, Dunbar got me.
So it was me chasing. So Jeremy was chasing Dean, and I was chasing Jeremy, and I'm on Jeremy's tail. All right, but Rick is right behind me, breathing down my neck. It was wheel to wheel action, guys. I'm not lying. This is literally one of the best races I've had of the year. It was like white knuckle wheel to wheel racing. If somebody slipped up, we change it, places would be changed. All right, so just like me, like, yeah, I slipped up because I almost hit Dean and I had to stop, and then everyone just zoomed past me. I was like, oh damn it, like shit. And then yeah, so I'm behind Jeremy, and I'm surprised my bike is keeping up with Jeremy. Jeremy's 150Rs, they're fast, man, cheater bike, you know. But I was actually pulling on Jeremy on the straight sometimes. All right.
Keeping up with Jeremy in the straight!
And I was thinking, like, oh boy, the battery's probably getting real hot right now. And I'm riding at like 100%, 110%, as fast as I can go. Lean the bike over into the corner as fast as I can, as low as it'll go, man. I'm dragging my feet, dragging foot pad. Yeah, you name it. I pulled out all the stops to keep up with these guys, man. And we're like it was a close race, man. Really, really close. It was anybody's game, okay? If Dean crashed, we would have taken the first from him, okay? That type of thing, all right? But everybody rode really, really well, all right? So a couple times Rick tried to pass me on the tabletop. We had to jump off of the tabletop. The mini bike can't clear a tabletop, so we would just launch off of it. And so what HadesOmega would do is I would let off and I would roll it, all right? I wouldn't jump it because the landing is really harsh, especially on the light B. And I didn't want to like hit the ground really hard and then the bike cut out, all right? But the bike never cut out during the race. It was full power all the time. This battery puts out a lot of power. It puts out more power than this. I noticed on the straights, I can feel it like, oh, it's pulling power, and like the BMS is saying like, hey, you can't discharge any more than that. This one doesn't care, all right? This one, I can feel it. It pulls hard like the whole time. There's like nothing holding me back, all right? This one kind of feels like you're hitting a brick wall a little bit. This one, it just keeps on going. It's smooth, all right? And yeah, I'm pushing the bike hard. Me, the bike, the battery, you know, and everything's getting hot and tired, that type of thing, all right? And yeah, so Rick tried to pass me again on the tabletop, and then after a while, I figured, you know what? You're going too slow off the tabletop. That's why he keeps on catching you. So also, there's a little whoop section that we have to pass through, and my bike is most of the time my bike is fast enough and agile enough to get to the left side of that, and on the left of the whoops is it's flat. It's flatter. All right, so I can just blast through it, and that's what I would do. But after Rick tried to pass me a couple times, and then I did the same thing. I took the inside. I blocked the inside when we went out. He would go outside, and I would have to go inside. You know, he would push like really hard outside, and I would just block the inside so he couldn't go fast. You know, type of thing. The only thing I could do, man, just block the inside. That's what I've learned from flat track racing, man. You block the inside, you know, no, they're not gonna be able to pass you. You know, they might hit you though. That's the problem. All right, you might get hit. All right, that would suck. But yeah, if you're there, you know, but it was legit. I mean, it was a legit passing. You know, we were like neck and neck coming out of there. But after like 2 laps, I said, "Fuck it." All right, I'm just gonna send it off of that tabletop, and that's what I did. I just wide open throttle. We just launched it off of there, and Rick wasn't able to keep up with me anymore. And Rick was. By the end of the race, Rick was like back there, and then so yeah, it was just me chasing Jeremy the rest of the time. I'm waiting for Jeremy to make a mistake or something, but he didn't make any big enough mistakes where I could pass him, unfortunately. He's a big dude, and yeah, the 150R is kind of a bigger bike than mine, and it's just hard to pass on this track, you know, unless somebody makes a major mistake. And Jeremy didn't make a major mistake. Hats off to you guys. Congratulations, Jeremy and Dean. All right, so what happens is Dean came in first, and then Jeremy came in second, and I came in third. All right, and that's why I got this little guy. All right, I got this little trophy. We came in third for the adult mini race. It may be a small trophy, but I'll tell you this was hard earned. All right, I had to ride 110% to get this thing. All right. And what an epic race it was. I got it on video. Make sure you watch it, dude. It's an epic race, man. That was a wheel-to-wheel racing, man. I'm telling you. It doesn't get any better than that. All right, we were out there mixing it up with the fastest mini supermoto bikes out there, okay? And we did great. Okay, so now begins the endurance fun, all right? So after giving 110%, racing this guy to get that third place trophy in the adult mini race, we have to hop on this bike and race the vet main race. All right, so this time we have to race it. All right, because it's the main race. You got to race it or else you don't get anything. All right, so and like I said, guaranteed podium. All right, you're guaranteed to come home with something. All right. Guaranteed to come home with something. There you go. All right, that's what I got right there. Yeah, because there's only 3 people, and there's only 3 people in the Vet 40 class. So, all right, green flag goes up. Boom, we go. All right, I think a Vet 40 is all the way in the back, and I think Jeremy was no, Jeremy wasn't behind me, but green flag goes up, and we take off. I think I passed Jeremy. Yeah, I did pass Jeremy. So I was immediately in front of him. I was like, whoa, we're in second already. I don't know where Eric was, but Rod Whitmore on his 450 SMR, he goes down in front of us. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. And I had to get on the brakes really hard, and I locked the front up just to avoid from hitting his bike. All right, and then we went around Rod, and then off we go. We're racing.
All right, but you gotta ride hard on the straight, man. Go! Oh my God! Oh my God! I almost ran him over. I think that was Rod, dude. Something happened to his bike.
All right, Jeremy's behind me. I think Jeremy's right behind me, and I think Mark Monroe was in front of us, and I was chasing Mark for a while, and then and so we're racing. I'm going 100%, right? I'm going as fast as I can go. And then Jeremy's behind me, and then Mark pulls away. I was like, hey, I passed Mark. I'm surprised. I'm like, oh, Mark didn't put his thing on his helmet, so he had to stop and fix it, I guess. And so he let us pass. And then so it was me and Jeremy racing, and Jeremy was behind me, and I think Jeremy swooped up on us on one corner, and then that was it.
There goes Jeremy. Alright, I'll try to keep up with you, Jeremy, but no promises.
And we were still racing. I think I raced him for a lap. And then I told myself, okay, Jeremy's in front of us, and I don't think we're going to pass him, and there's not really anybody behind us, so just take it easy. Okay, that's what I did. I rolled out. I dialed it back, as I knew, like, you need to save the bike for the next race, all right? And I already knew I was going to get the podium on the podium for this one, so I was going to throw this race away. Okay, so that's what I did. I ran like half throttle. I ran half throttle down the straightaway. I think it's the straightaway that's really heating up the battery, because we're going super duper fast. Half throttle, we're just doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's a lot easier to get the bike off around the corner. And so I finished that race in 3rd place. All right, there you go. The 3rd place is right there. Okay, and then I get a little break. They give me a little break because I did a back-to-back race, and then I'm gonna do another race back-to-back. So I'm like super tired. I take my helmet off and stuff. I'm trying to cool the bike off as much as possible. Mark lent me his blower fan. Thanks, Mark. He has a super powerful blower fan. So I use it to cool the battery down a little bit. The battery actually wasn't that hot. It was warm, but it wasn't hot. So not getting on it all the way, it helped, all right? It kept it cool. All right, and I was spraying water on it, and I drank water, and I sprayed myself with water to cool down and stuff. And then we go back out and we race the 250 class, all right? They gave me about like a 5-10 minute break or something. Then we go out there and we do the 250 race, all right? And then so it's me, number 1, all right? I staged number 1. I was like, oh, so I can, and they're like, you're number 1, and there's only 3 of you. You can line up wherever you want. I'm like, okay, HadesOmega likes to line up on the outside of the first turn, all right? I don't like going on the inside. If you go on the inside, you can't late apex, all right? And so that was my idea. I was going to get in front of them and then late apex it and go fast. Yeah, so that's what happens. We take off, boom. All right, I definitely whole shotted them in the first corner. This thing is a whole shot machine, man. It's a monster. Even Dean says, like, man, that bike is fast on the start. Like, yep, it sure is. And yeah, so I was in front, and I think by like around the first corner, Dean was already trying to get around me, and then the second corner, Dean had already got in front of me. I was like, oh, okay. And so it's just me following Dean again, just like in the last race in the mini race. I was just chasing Dean. I was like, okay.
Boom! Oh my God, Dean! Freaking Dean, dude. Alright, so I just get behind Dean, man.
Just follow Dean as best as you can. And to my surprise, I was able to keep up with Dean, alright? He actually didn't pull away from me all that much, and the sections where he slowed down a lot, I would keep up with him. It was me behind Dean the whole race, alright? And then Cooper was behind us. I think Cooper got a bad start or something. Something happened to Cooper, and he was like far back. All right, but like I could gauge how far he was by at a certain part of the track. I could see him, and if he was at that same spot or more forward or more back, I kind of got an idea where how far he was from us. All right, and I had a comfortable lead in front of him. I would say comfortable, but if I made a big mistake, he would have caught us. Okay, so, but he wasn't like right on our tail. Is all I want to say. All right, but I was on Dean's tail. I was on Dean's tail for about half the race, and man, it was incredible watching him race. Dean's a flat track racer, and he's been practicing backing it into the corners and stuff, and he'll back it in from like a long ways, man. And I remember like going down the straight, and you need to slow down, and then you just throw it into the turn. Well, Dean would just back it in from like 50 feet away, and I can see tire smoke coming out of his tire, and I could smell the tire smoke behind him. That's how crazy it was riding behind Dean. Okay, he would be going sideways, but just because you're going sideways into the turn doesn't necessarily mean. Sometimes drifting isn't faster than gripping, all right, guys? And he really wasn't getting that far away from us.
Holy shit! Did you see that? I can smell the smoke. Oh my God, Dean! What a show! I got the front row seat to that.
I was giving him a run for his money, but I think Dean started pulling away halfway through the race. All right, around 4 or 5 laps, and then around the 6th or the 7th lap. No. Yeah, on the 6th lap. The bike overheated. Okay, the battery overheated. I was like, oh shit, the battery light, the overheat light, it came on, the exclamation mark. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, the bike's overheating. Bike's overheating.
This. If the bike dies on you, you're gonna lose second place. All right. Yeah, I'm at where we are in the race. I'm second, all right? I have a comfortable second place, all right? I don't think I'll be able to pass Dean unless Dean makes a big mistake. So I was like, like I'm just trying to maintain this position, but Cooper's behind us, and I'm looking. And like I said, every lap I'm looking and I'm seeing where he is behind us, and sometimes he's a little bit farther back, sometimes he's in the same spot, you know, but you know, it's not changing a whole lot, and. He told me he had some kind of problems during the race or something, but yeah, I was on it, and then I think on the 7th lap I said, oh, I think I think it's time to back off. Don't go all the way, HadesOmega. Don't push it 100%. So I tried to slow down a little bit. It was tough, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I was like, even if it was like the 3rd race, at the end of the 3rd race, I was like I was like in my groove or something, you know. I wasn't feeling tired. I'm just doing this. I'm just going through the motions already, you know. And I'm getting faster on the Redshift. What I've learned is that the Redshift it corners a lot. It turns a lot slower than the Light B, so you have to plan ahead. You have to turn the bike sooner, or else you're not gonna think. And you have to be violent with it. You can't. This bike it won't just change direction really fast like the Light B, so you have to be very, very violent when you want it to change direction. All right, yeah, is what I've learned with this bike. And so I was doing good. We were doing really well, and I was keeping Cooper back there, and then Dean was in front of us. We couldn't catch him. And Dean was pulling away, but Cooper was like at the same position all the time. And then I'm like, oh, bike overheat. So and then so I told myself, okay. Just try not to get on. Don't whack the throttle open so fast anymore. All right, and then I think by the 7th lap, yeah, we're coming in for the 8th lap. A white flag goes up. All right, and then I'm telling myself, oh, okay, I'm trying to tone it down a little bit. I'm trying to go a little bit slower, just a little bit slower, and then the final lap. Yeah, the same thing. I guess I kind of take it easy. I see Cooper. He's still back there somewhere, and then when I get halfway down the main straight, the finishing straight, the long straight. There's a long straight, and then there's the finishing straight. The where you start. I whacked the throttle wide open. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. What I knew, like if the bike overheated and died, I could just push it to the finish line. I said, Or we could just roll it to the finish line. If the bike was to die on the straight, we could probably roll it to the finish line, and then I could push it the rest of the way, and then I would still come in second. I knew it. I knew, like, okay, wide open, go, do it. and then yeah, we finished, and the bike didn't die. Right? I can't remember. I've ridden this bike till it's gotten really, really hot, and then it will slow down a whole lot. You'll feel it pulling power. All right. That's the good thing about this bike. It pulls the power until so you don't overheat the battery. Where this one, like, it just dies right away because it just gives you all the power. All right. So yeah. So in the end, there you go. I got second place for the 250 class race. All right. There was only 3 of us. Yeah, I know there's a lot. There's some pretty fast 250 riders out there, like Sharon Mowell and stuff, and they didn't show up to the race. And then Rod normally races Rod used to have a CRF 250, and then he sold it and he got that 450 SMR. So he's not racing with us in the 250s anymore. So, so there's less competition in the 250 class right now. So, but yeah, I had a good race. Hats off to Dean. All right, Dean did great. He kept me behind him the whole time, and it was amazing watching him race. And then Cooper did a great job. He held that same position the whole time, so he kept me on my toes. Is what I want to say. Like in the heat race, he definitely kept me on my toes because I would hear him. He would come up right behind me, like, don't like it. All right, but this race was kind of like, it was a little more relaxing. That, like, yeah, he was kind of farther back there this time, so something must have happened, you know. And I think maybe because I think he was following me in the last race. I was like sucking him along like glue, you know. And he was sticking on my tail, but I guess he didn't. You can't really do that when you're far away. You just got to try to just ride as hard as you can, type of thing. But yeah. I'm proud to say that the Redshift legit took the second place trophy back for the Triple Crown. All right, I'm really happy with the way that turned out. We did great. The bike overheated at the end. It also had only like 15 or 10% charge at the end, so like we really used up all the power, man. So thinking back. This is kind of like the AAR right here, all right? The after action review, like what went well. The thing that went well was we didn't race the vet heat race, all right? By not racing the heat race, we were able to save the bike for the main race, all right? And it worked out in our favor. I think because remember, I had 10% in the battery after the back-to-back races. Yeah, the main races. So after the 16 laps, it was spent. There was no more charge in the battery because we used up like 25% in the practice, and then after the practice and the heat race, we were at 25. We went down 25%. We were at 75%. So I thought, 75 is still a lot, you know. And then after the 2 mains. Almost all gone, dude. It almost ate up all that power, dude. This thing eats up power like crazy, dude. So yeah, so that's the scoop. All right, we came in third in the Vet 40 class. We came in second in the 250 class, and then we came in third in the Adult Mini. The one I'm most proud of is the Light Beat. That was one of the best races I've ever had. Okay, that was wheel to wheel, you know, toe to toe racing, man. The 250 race, the 350 race was just kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of cruising. I know I'm gonna get something. I'll just kind of play with these guys for a little while and save the bike for the next race. But the 250 race, I really tried. I hung with Dean for a couple laps, and then he pulled away, and then Cooper was behind us. Luckily, Cooper never passed us. So, but everybody I raced, you know, that was up there with me, they did a great job. It was anybody's race. If anybody made a major mistake, we would have changed places. Okay, for sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what went well? We skipped that race. Do I want to do that again? No, not really. That was really, yeah. And Did we overheat the bike? Well, we didn't overheat the Light Bee. The Light Bee ran great the whole time, all right? And I found out something is wrong with this battery, all right? So I got to figure out what's wrong with it. I think this battery has a breaker on it. I think if I replace the breaker, yeah, I can hear it. It's like there's something loose in the breaker. So maybe if I replace the breaker, or just remove the breaker period, I can do that also. We can fix the battery, all right? Maybe I'm just gonna take the breaker off, man. I'm just kind of tired of having it on there. But I could just as easily just replace the breaker that's on this battery, and I think that's what the problem is, because I can't see any problem wrong with the vibrations unless something came loose inside the battery, but it only does it like under hard impact. So I think it's the breaker is the problem. So because of that race, the big battery, it handled it the whole time. All right, I'm having problems with the big batteries too. So HadesOmega is working on trying to get a new battery. All right, guys, they're really expensive though. So, but this battery has a problem with one of the cells. One of the cells is going bad. I found that out in Moab because it just suddenly died on me. I was like, what the heck? The one of the cells is way lower than all the others, and when one of the cells gets too low, to protect the battery, it cuts the power off. All right, so this one you can't drain it all that much. After that 8-lap race, we were at 50% on this battery. Okay, so that did pretty good. All right, after 16 laps, from 75%, we were at like 10% on this. So we could have so what I wanted to avoid doing is charging the battery. All right, so charging the battery heats the battery up. All right, so that's what I tried not to do, and we didn't. I think I might have thrown it on the charger for just a little bit, but I tried my best. I was spraying water on it, and this battery, it soaks up heat and it doesn't let it go, man. I was spraying the battery and it would never get cold. All right, it takes a long time to get rid of the heat on this battery. The best thing to do is to have a second battery. All right, and the Light Bee has a second battery, so that's why. That's why it did so good on the main race, is because the battery was fresh. I hadn't touched it the whole day. All right, so I think that strategy worked really well. I saved one battery I didn't touch it at all, and I kept it from overheating. What's another improve? Take your freaking fan with you, HadesOmega. Always take this. I hate to say it, man. There's been more than a handful of situations where, oh, I forgot the fan, or I wish I brought the fan because we could have used it. Yeah, we definitely would have used it. Well, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I bring the fan and I never use it. All right, but definitely to this weekend, we definitely needed it, and we definitely needed two fans. All right, for both batteries. But I didn't overheat the Light Bee. I overheated the Redshift. I was expecting it to overheat anyways, you know. But it did pretty good. It wasn't too hot after the first race, but then the second race, it was really, really hot. All right. Even after the heat race and we got a long break, I couldn't get it to cool down, man. I was like, man, it's still warm. I'm like, what the heck? And if I had the blower fan, I think it would have stayed cooler. It probably wouldn't have overheated in that race if I had the blower fan. So always bring the blower fan, HadesOmega. Come on. And try to bring both of them. Maybe I might just buy 2 blower fans. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with how the results of the weekend. All right, we took home. The first day was kind of a disappointment. I didn't get anything I didn't podium at all the first day, and I had problems with the bike. And then so it was the AER process that helped. All right, so find out what's the problem. All right, and you need to fix it. All right, what could we do to improve? All right, and that's what we did. We skipped. I formulated a plan where we can finish the race day. All right, and it was to skip the heat for the vet to keep this fresh. All right, and then I raced one of the heats. Yeah, we probably could have just skipped all the heat races. All right, I'm not gonna lie. We probably could just showed up and race. Some people do that. All right, I think some people that they do a lot of races in the day. That's what they do. They just don't do the heat race because you don't have to do the heat race, guys. It's kind of just a practice race. It's a qualifying race. All right, the position you finish in the heat race is your starting position on the main race. So yeah, it is advantageous to do the heat race so you can get a good starting position for your next race. So I'm not gonna lie, in like certain races, like some races, they grid you like so far apart. Like you're like 10 feet behind the guy in front of you. You're just like, damn, dude. To get to the front is like a long ways, you know. So if you could start at the front, but for the Supermoto race, yeah, most of these races, we were like side by side, right next to you. There's only 3 people on the thing, so it didn't really matter, you know. Dean didn't even show up to the 250 heat race, so I had fun racing Cooper in the heat race though, the 250 heat race. He definitely kept me on my toes. All right, good job, buddy. And yeah, so I had a lot of fun, and yeah, so the problems I had from the first day, you know, we assessed what they were and what we could do to, you know, to be successful the next day, and that's what we did. Right, we skipped that heat race, and then I made sure that to keep the battery as cool as possible. I made sure I didn't race that hard on the vet race. I know I hate to say that, man. You know, when I think of racing, I think it's like wide open throttle, man, you know, but sometimes you can't do that, especially on an electric bike, all right, and you can't change the batteries on this. But I think if we brought the cooler fan, we wouldn't have to worry about it so much, so we definitely should have brought that. Yeah, the only thing I could do was spray it with a water bottle. One thing Andy DeBrino told me is that I think he used to race. He told me he used to race the Alta, and what he did to keep it cool was he had a mixture of water and alcohol, and he would spray it on the battery, and it would cool the battery really fast. It would cool the battery much better than just using regular water. So that's a tip he gave me. So maybe we'll try that next time. Okay, so I learned something new from a dude that, you know, that races these bikes. Okay. I would love to see him race my bike, by the way. He said he had done some promotional video stuff for this bike, so I think if you watch some of the commercials on YouTube for the Redshift Supermoto, he might be in it. I'll go watch him again. But yeah, it was great racing with him and chatting with him and seeing him again. I think this is the second time I raced Andy DeBrino. It's same story. It was the Light B versus the G3S, and the Light B. You know, my Light B, I've thrown a lot of money into it. I'm not gonna lie, dude. So that's my advantage there. Okay. So yeah, and then that's it. That's the end of the racing. I've got plans for the Redshift. So that was my last race of the year. All right, 2023 is done.